Am I here?
This one looks good.
This one looks good. Can you guys see me? I'm live. Okay. Nice and sweaty for you guys. I'm so sorry about that. I was running and I completely lost track of time. So I'm here now, and today we are going to talk about addictions and how you can free yourself from addictions. Anyone who's here who doesn't know me already, my name is Kate Flowers, and I have been through some addictions in my life. I'm going to talk for the next like 10 or 15 minutes about my story with addictions, and then we will open up for some live Q&A where I'm happy to answer your questions. I'm disgusting right now. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm seriously just like a pile of sweat over here. Oh goodness. Let's just all take a sip of water together. What do you say? So when I was a teenager, I was one of those people who said that I would never drink or smoke cigarettes or do anything of that sort. We're gonna stretch while we're talking because, I need to. And then, I guess I was like 15 or 16 the first time that I ever drank anything. And the first time I ever drank anything, I got blackout drunk and I had a horrible experience. One of my best friends ended up getting like expelled from school because of it. And it was just really sad and really terrible. And I thought to myself, like, okay, Kate, that's probably a sign that you should not ever do that again. Or maybe, you just shouldn't drink or use drugs or anything like that. You obviously didn't. It was obviously like some kind of sign, right? Like something really bad happened as a consequence to those actions. And so for a couple of years, I didn't drink, I didn't do anything. I kept focused on my schoolwork, and I was a dancer in high school, so I was dancing and keeping busy. And then my last couple of years in high school, I developed an eating disorder because I was a ballerina and I never felt like I was skinny enough. And consequently, that turned into drug abuse when I was about 16, turning 17. I discovered cocaine, and the first time I tried it, I didn't ever think anything other than, I didn't really feel that different. I didn't think it was that mind altering. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect because I'd never done any kind of drugs. So I thought, are the walls going to move around? I didn't know that it was kind of considered a sober drug or whatever. However, what I did notice was that I wasn't hungry, and so that was appealing to me at the time. And slowly but surely turned into a pretty severe addiction. I was really young and I was working several jobs just to support my habit. And that was the first time in my life that I had really, truly experienced addiction. From then on, I was able to quit using cocaine about a year later after a lot of self-reflection and thinking, like, what am I doing with my life? I ended up ruining my dance career at the time because of drug addiction, which was my only, main big dream that I had ever had. And so it was really sad, and I was able to get myself to quit that, which was good, and I felt accomplished. And from then on, nothing seemed as bad as that. So I kind of gave myself all of these excuses, which as addicts, a lot of people know, we give ourselves excuses. That's just what we do, excuses to do things that probably are not best for us, but we'll make excuses for them. And mine was, well, at least it's not Coke. I'm still smoking cigarettes, I'm still drinking alcohol, and now I'm smoking weed all the time or whatever, but at least none of those things are Coke. So it took me like several years after that to slowly but surely wean out the other things that I was still doing. And about 4 years ago now, probably, I completely quit smoking weed. And then 1 year ago, in the beginning of this month, exactly 1 year ago, I completely quit drinking alcohol. So those are my main addictions. Also food, like food has definitely been one as well. junk food, processed food, unhealthy vegan food, just unhealthy food in general. I find all of those things for me personally to be very addictive. So that's kind of my story with addiction. And I overcame things not all at once, but very slowly. And a lot of the things that I overcame, I didn't even think were a problem for a really long time, or I didn't recognize them as addictive habits. Addictions are complicated, and I think a lot of the reason that we become addicted to things is because we have a lack of connection, either with ourselves or with something bigger than us, whether you call it the universe or God or whatever you believe. Connection is so important. Connection with, like I said, yourself, something bigger, other people, real, true, genuine connections. When we feel a lack of connection, which can only really be fulfilled by you, but when you feel that lack of connection is when you reach for substances or something to kind of mask whatever you might be feeling. Those uncomfortable feelings, like who hasn't had a bad day and then like went for a tub of ice cream, you know, and as you're eating the ice cream, you have this sense of relief for like 15 minutes and then afterwards you feel even worse than you did before. But that's kind of how I feel about addictions. And so I'm just hyper aware of them now. And when I am feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be feeling this feeling anymore, I tend to find something else that's healthier to cope with that, like meditation or yoga or going for a run, which is obviously what I just did, or dancing or journaling about it, or just trying to change my state. So if my state is depressive or anxious or sad, I will try and do something that makes me feel happy, or think about something that really makes me feel happy and try and feel that feeling really strongly. Because you can't take, a lot of people try to take the bad feelings out. You can't remove air from an empty glass. You know, it's just there, but you can't fill the glass up with something else like water or whatever. You can't remove the bad feelings. And many people feel them and they're like, ooh, get this out. I don't want to feel this. I can't feel this way anymore. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Get it out. That's not helpful, you know? And so instead of filling that gap up with something addictive, I have found for myself that filling that gap with something that either motivates me or pushes me towards a better, something I'll thank myself for in the future, like working out or even listening to music. I'm a total Broadway geek, so I love musicals. If I put on a musical playlist on Pandora, it doesn't matter what kind of mood I'm in, I will get happy like pretty instantly. And so it changes my state. It takes me out of that obsessive place where I'm super hyper focused on the negative or the bad mood or whatever it is. So I think I covered everything that I could say right there. And I want to see if you guys have any questions. How many of you are here? Wayne, Ted, since I'm late, I'm assuming some people probably dipped out. But if Wayne or Ted is here, let me know how many people are here. Anyway, hi, Brianna. Everyone I know. Oh, am I back? Can Can you guys hear me, see me, anything? Okay, hey guys, so sorry. I have no idea what just happened. I just restarted my thing. I was reading, everyone I know where I come from does cocaine, but I haven't, Molly too, etc. Yeah, like I said, I'm really sorry that where you come from that's happening, and I'm really glad that you have not decided to participate in that. And like I said, if I could go back, that would be the one thing that I would definitely change. I don't have a lot of regrets in life, and like I said, I am who I am today because of it. But if I could go back, that would be something that, did you guys hear me say all that before? I might be repeating myself, but that's okay. And then Rose said, what do you mean by we can only fulfill the need for connection within ourselves? I've never heard that before. I'm really curious. And what I meant by that was, you guys have probably heard, you can't love somebody else until you truly love yourself. It's the same concept as that, in the fact that it's really hard to be connected to somebody else or something else, or feel that, you know what I mean when I say feel that connection, like that connection to life, like you feel alive, you feel present, you feel happy, like it's a happy, free, joy feeling. That's the feeling of connection. That's the feeling of really being alive. And we often look for that in other people or other things. So, you know, people become addicted to relationships, and then codependency, which is just another form of addiction. And we're really looking to fulfill that connection and need from somebody else, or you know, you're getting that, you think you're getting that from the alcohol or from this or from that. You can only get that from yourself, whether that's through meditating or whatever it is that makes you feel most connected to yourself, in tune with yourself, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of it. So I hope that answers that question, Rose. If you have any other questions about it, please let me know. Rachel, cocaine was the first drug you tried. Yeah. It was. Like I said, I had that one experience of drinking alcohol when I was like 15 or 16. And then, yeah, I went just straight in for the bad stuff. Yeah, it was not pleasant. Okay, you guys are all back. Veronica, Ali, Amanda, Rachel, Rose, Jonas. So please, okay, Rose, I'm glad that you understood that. If you have ever experienced anything with addiction, whether it is food or with a relationship, relationships are tricky because it's hard to know when you're addicted to them or when you're in like some kind of codependent situation. But relationships can also definitely be addicting. Like I said, food, relationships, drugs, alcohol, lots of things. You can be addicted to lots of things. So, and we all have something, you know. I don't think there's anyone on the planet who doesn't have some type of addiction, so it definitely can relate to everybody on some level. Did you feel like you had an addictive personality before trying it, or did you only realize after? It's really hard to say. I guess I wouldn't have labeled myself as somebody with an addictive personality. I definitely had perfectionist tendencies, which can kind of tie into addictive personalities. And I was already slightly obsessive about things, maybe because of being so focused on dance and ballet. I don't know, but I definitely didn't realize it. I didn't realize it even after being on drugs and using cocaine. I didn't realize that I had an addictive personality until like years later, when I was willing to face the fact, like, hey, Kate, like, you might have an addictive personality. It's not something that I realized right away at all. What would you say is the most important thing in overcoming an addiction? Rose, what's the most important thing? The most important thing is that you're choosing life. Really, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Is, at least for me, it was choosing between, like, I don't care about myself and I don't care about my life enough to make a change, or accept the fact that a change probably needs to be made in order for me to live a happier life. And then, you know, I also was depressed and had suicidal thoughts and stuff. So I just was not a happy person. in order to change those addictions, like I really had to want to live really fully. I really had to have a passion and a drive behind having an amazing life, not just like, well, I'm here, I'm making it through the days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when I can have my bottles of wine. Like, I look forward to that, and change that from like just getting by and just living to like really living and really wanting to live and finding motivation to live and finding things that excite me and make me feel alive, like dance and singing and helping others and motivating others and being on YouTube, choosing to live. And that might sound weird, but I hope that makes sense to you. And if it doesn't, please let me know and I'll try and elaborate. Amanda, I find it hard to ignore cravings, but know it will pass and I just need to eat or drink something healthy for me or distract in a good way or release and understand the feeling. Yeah, as long as you're aware of the cravings, like I'm assuming you're talking about maybe junk food or whatever, as long as you're aware that they are just cravings and you're aware of them when they're happening and it doesn't turn from like craving to binge right away, because you can catch it somewhere in between that really helps, you know. And if you're aware of it, then you have the ability to shift it and change it for the better. If you're not aware of it, and like I said, it goes from craving to binge, then that's when you're in trouble because you have no control, you know, it just happens. It happens to you, or it feels like it happens to you without your control. Learning to become aware of like, oh, I'm having this thought about chocolate cake, whatever, okay, whatever it is. Okay, I recognize that I'm having that thought. Now I can keep thinking about that thought and obsessing on it until I decide like, well, screw it, I'll just eat it or whatever. Or I can say like, okay, I'm having that thought, like, what can I do right now? I know that's not a good choice for me. I know that's not going to result in me feeling my best. So what can I do right now to get my mind on a better track? And anything, put on a song, go for a run, call a friend, take a nice warm bath, whatever, something that is self-nourishing and self-loving and that really helps. And like have a snack that maybe still tastes really good. Say you're craving chocolate cake, you know, make raw brownies that are still somewhat healthy and that sort of satisfy that craving without you know, going completely off your track and making yourself feel really crappy. Where am I? Rachel, this might be a bit controversial, so no hate here at all, but I've noticed that a lot of people that go vegan have had eating disorders / addictive personalities. Me too. Do you think veganism could be an addiction to being healthy for some people? Like maybe. I mean, if you're talking about like orthorexia or whatever, which I think is defined by people being really obsessed with healthy eating, like possibly. I think that there's that in every type of eating regimen, not just veganism. I think that there's people who are obsessed with being healthy or obsessed with calories or obsessed with fitness who are vegan, who are pescatarian, who are vegetarian, who are meat eaters. Like, I don't think it's specifically honed in on vegans. I think maybe some vegans think about it a lot more. Maybe you're a little bit more self-aware. They're like a little bit more conscious possibly. And so we talk about it more often and we talk about it more openly. This is just a hypothesis. I could totally not be true at all, but that would be my take on it, is that, you know, we're just more open with it. Like there's more of us on YouTube. There's more of us who are like out talking about this kind of stuff, but I don't necessarily think that the two are directly correlated. I think people are mainly vegan. Like I've told people forever, like I might not always be 100% raw vegan, but I will always be vegan because I'm vegan for ethical reasons. And I think not everybody, but most people are vegan for ethical reasons. And so most vegans are not vegan for health reasons. There are a lot that are, but most, I would say, I don't know percentage wise, but which is what makes me think that it's not necessarily an addiction to being healthy. But for some people, it definitely could be, just like any other healthy diet out there. Jonas, my body rejects toxins. Where are we? What are we talking about here? My body rejects toxins. The toxins suppress us and will kick in instant toxemia after 8 years of 80-10-10 raw vegan. So are you saying you've been 8 years of 80-10-10, and if you were to have, I'm not sure what this means. Is there a question for me? Because if there is, can you reword it so I can properly answer it? Rose, that made sense instantly. I know exactly what that means to me. Thank you. You're welcome. Rachel, yes, very true. I found the ethical reasons to help with cravings too, because that's way harder to explain away to myself. Yeah, for me, the ethical reasons are like, I mean, I might not be always 100% healthy, but I'll always be 100% vegan. So like if I go off track, if I didn't have the ethical backing behind it, off track for me would be a lot uglier. Because if I didn't have the ethical standpoint behind veganism, going off track would definitely mean like eggs and dairy products and whatever I wanted, you know? But because I have the ethical standpoint, I will never go off track in a way that's not vegan. Rose, what does it feel like to be free of addictions? It feels pretty incredible, honestly. I haven't experienced this. This is the first time I'm experiencing this since before I started like using anything. So, which was when I was like 15 or 16, and I'm almost 28. You know, a good almost 13 years of constantly being addicted to different things. And like, I'm so not perfect. I'm probably still addicted to little things here and there, whatever they are. But like major addictions, major things like cooked food and drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, feels amazing. Feels really, really good. And not that I think that all cooked food is bad or addictive at all whatsoever. But you know, things that you can't control, like wanting to eat Chipotle every day, like that would be totally an addiction for me. And I don't think about that anymore because it's been so long and it's just off my back, you know? Alcohol, like I can be around it, other people can be drinking around me. Not that I surround myself with people who drink, like hardly ever, but it doesn't bother. I never at this point think, oh, I wish I could have a drink, because being free from addictions and being completely sober feels way better than even the idea of having a drink again. So feels really good. Thanks for asking. Jonas, I did vegan since 15, but a life of veg. So I rejected stuff like alcohol and it just made me sick. So I didn't want a second time. That's amazing. That's amazing. I wish that had been my experience. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But if it hadn't been, I wouldn't be here today talking to you guys. So, but anyone who hasn't gone through that, I am always so happy for them, because it's a different life. You know, I say to people sometimes, unfortunately, and you know, as much as I wish this wasn't true, I was never the same after I started using. I hear somebody else. Hello? Okay. I was never the same after I started using drugs. I was, especially like doing cocaine, it changed me. Like, I don't want to say permanently, but you can't go back after it. So if you have never done it, don't. Did your parents know about you doing drugs at the time? No. I hid it from everybody. My best friend knew, my boyfriend knew at the time, and that was pretty much it. Nobody else knew. That was a hard one. My mom knew shortly after I stopped using cocaine, at least. I told her shortly after, and I explained myself because I had been acting weird the whole year. You know, looking back, I'm thinking, like, God, how did they not know? But I told my mom shortly after, and my mom and dad were already separated at this point. But then my dad, I I never told him. I don't think he knew the full story until I made a YouTube video about it this last year. So it was like 10 years. And like, it's not because I was trying to hide it from him. I'm really close with my dad. It was just like, it was my mistake, you know, it was my fuck up or whatever. And I didn't want him to feel disappointed, or I don't know. I just, I had a hard time telling him, so I didn't. And then I made a YouTube video about it for the whole world to see last year. And I told him stuff was going to be in it that he probably didn't know. And he came up to me afterwards, and after he watched it, and he said, yeah, I didn't know some of that stuff, but, you know, it was okay at that point. When you're out talking about it publicly and it's been so long and you've overcome it, you know, all anybody can do at that point is just be proud of you. So, but yeah, the parent thing is hard because you really don't want to be like, hey, I was this really great student that got really great grades and was the, you know, lead ballet dancer in the school, but oh yeah, I became a drug addict. Like, it was not easy, you guys. What was the hardest addiction to overcome for you? Nicotine. I think nicotine was the hardest. I smoked cigarettes for the longest time. I mean, comparable to drinking alcohol and smoking weed. No, not even comparable. Smoking cigarettes was something I did for a long time, like over 10 years straight. And the last couple of years, I switched over to an e-cig, which like might even be more addicting. Not sure. But nicotine was a hard one. I did not want to let that one go. Like alcohol, like I had wanted to let go of. Like I couldn't. I wasn't able to do it yet. And I'd keep going back to it. But I knew I wanted to let it go. Like smoking cigarettes and using nicotine, like I did not want to let it go. I wanted to be able to keep doing that. So like, yeah, Coke, like I knew I wanted to stop doing that. Like even though I was addicted to it, or like eating junk food, like I knew I wanted to stop doing that because I wanted to feel better. Like nicotine was like one of those things that like, if I could have one thing that did 0 damage to me, and keep doing it forever with no bad side effects, like it would have been nicotine. That was the hardest, for sure. And I think I've heard a lot of people have that struggle. And they've been addicted to a bunch of different things, nicotine being one of them. Nicotine is a freaking hard one, man. Hard. Rachel, did you find alcohol had a negative effect on your emotional health, or did you just want to stop because of dependency? Both. Alcohol had no benefit to my life at all. And I wasn't like a blackout drunk by any means. I didn't go to the bar every weekend. Like I was like an at home, have a bottle of wine, have a glass of wine, chill on the couch, eat a nice meal, like maybe invite some friends over, like occasionally do like a little mini party, but I was not like a crazy, at least in the later years of my life, like early 20s was a whole different story. But in my most recent time, you know, I was like a chill person who just really liked to drink some wine or beer or whatever. But like the next day I would always feel bad. And like May and I would fight more if we were drinking or had been drinking the night before. And like we don't fight, you know, it's not something that happens between us a lot. So it was just not good. It never made me more motivated. It never made me reach towards my dreams more. It didn't do anything. Had no positive effects from alcohol, mental health, physical health, nothing. So not only the dependency of doing it when I was stressed or emotionally distraught in some way, but yeah, emotional health, it definitely made me depressed. It's a depressant. Alcohol is a depressant. So it's not something that uplifts you in the long run or in the short run. Like in the short run, yes, you got that like stimulation, whatever. You feel really good for like a little bit. You get like your little buzz on or whatever. But in the long run, emotionally, it is a downward spiral. Big time. I completely relate to your thoughts on alcohol and haven't had a drink in a year, but I find friends trying to get me to drink again socially. Yeah, I mean, it depends, you know, I mean, especially if you're young, I don't know how old you are, but they're not, in, I would say they're not great friends if they're trying to get you to do that, because that's not the kind of friendships you want in your life. They should just be cool with the fact that you don't and that you're hanging out with them even if they do, and respect that. Maybe you haven't explained to them enough that you really don't want to drink, and maybe have that talk with them and see if that helps, or find new friends, because in the long run, you definitely want people who are supportive of your good habits and who are encouraging of you stopping your bad habits, because those are the only kinds of people I want in my life these days. Definitely makes a difference. I don't hang out with hardly anybody who drinks ever, like, you know, distant family members sometimes, occasionally when I see them, and it's not a problem, or like friends who are going to visit me from out of town sometimes, occasionally, but the immediate people in my life that I see and talk to on a very regular basis are not people who are out drinking all the time. Brianna, how do you make new healthy friendships? I have found, sorry you guys, I'm like trying to stretch while I'm still warm. Oh God, this position is painful. Look, leg up on the table. I have found that going to events and activities and stuff, joining activities, joining programs of any kind in your area or elsewhere that are things you like to do. So say you like to draw or paint or dance or sing or play soccer or do yoga or eat vegan food or whatever it is, find or create something in your area based around that, and then you'll either find other people there who are like-minded, who like to do the same kinds of things as you, who have similar interests and activities. And it's so easy to connect when you have already like a solid common ground of some sort, any kind. Or if you're creating it yourself, you'll find that you will attract other people towards you and towards your group or your activity or your event who are like-minded. And like I said, like that common ground thing is so easy. You already have so much to talk about and to connect on, and then it's really easy to create new friendships from there. Like going to the Woodstock Fruit Festival was awesome. I met so many new friends. It was just easy. I already felt like we knew each other, and yeah, I just love that. So if you guys want to go to that, let me know. I have a discount code for you. If it's your first time only. Also, you could volunteer, or you could at least sign up to volunteer. And if you're accepted into the volunteer program, I'm not sure exactly how that works, but you can go for free at that point. You just have to volunteer for a few hours a day. But something like that is awesome for meeting friends. But again, like in your local community, like go join meetup.com and find like events and group things that are stuff you like to do. It's so easy to meet other people that you can become friends with when you both like the same kind of stuff. Rose, how do you deal with concerned family members who think a raw vegan diet is unhealthy? I know they mean well, but I can barely hold on. I so easily believe their concern. I think that you should believe some of their concern, and you should be skeptical, and you should do tons of research on your own, and not just listen to one person and what they've experienced and what they've done, because I'm constantly doing research. I'm constantly learning how I can be the healthiest version of myself, and I'm constantly trying out new ways of eating and new types of food and raw foods and different supplements and different green powders and what makes me feel my best and what makes me feel like my hair is growing and as healthy and thick as possible and my nails are strong and I have energy and I don't feel weak and I'm able to build muscle really easily. I try everything. I don't just say like, oh, this person said this, because I've done that in the past where like I followed Freely or whoever exactly to a T, and I was not happy with it. And I realized like you have to do your own research. And then at that point, you're so much more educated and you can so much more easily combat whatever it is they have to say, because you've researched it yourself and you've tried it on yourself and you've got that backing. It's so much more effective that way. And then you'll hold on easier because you'll know, because you did the research, and you experience the benefit in your own personal body and not just because somebody else said so. Jonas, I don't know people who don't drink, so I make it a point to promote health to people out. I call it eats on the streets. Even if I wanted to go, I couldn't. Well, there's definitely ways to find people who don't drink. I mean, there's meetings for that. There's like, not that you would need to go to one, but I mean, there's definitely ways to find sober people in your area or whatever. Eats on the streets, even if I wanted to go, I couldn't go. I think it's cool that you're promoting health to people. That's awesome. Brianna, you're going to Woodstock. Oh, that's going to be so fun. Our meetups do exist. Order a group of people from the Seventh-day Church. Okay, well, you could create your own meetups and bring new kinds of people in if you want to, because, you know, they are out there. Ali, I really want to go to Woodstock. Ooh, that stretch hurt. Ooh, God. Ali. Woodstock Fruit Festival.com. Shoot, what is my code? I think my code is flowers. Use my code, you can get $100 off if you're a new attendee. And if you, I think there's a program, at least this is the program that I used when I signed up at the end of the last one, where, where you can pay, say you sign up now and you have 10 months until Woodstock arrives, then whatever your total cost is, you can spread that out over 10 months, so it makes it a lot more doable. I think that they offer that all year, so check that out for sure. Oh, you guys have Fruit Lex monthly? That's awesome. Rose, when you've given up things you were addicted to, have you ever experienced depression or suicidal thoughts? Well, I've experienced more depression and suicidal thoughts before giving up things I was addicted to. While I was still addicted to them, I had way more depression and suicidal thoughts. However, I know that people do come off those things and have those experiences. Again, that's going to come back to you connecting with yourself and loving yourself and becoming your own best friend and being there for yourself and knowing that when you're in a bad place, like think about what you do for your best friend when they're feeling bad. You try to cheer them up. You want them to feel cozy and loved and safe and happy. Do that for yourself all the time. It helps. Okay, cool. So you can set up a payment plan. Awesome. So I'm glad that you confirmed that for me, Brianna, because I thought you could. I just wanted to make sure. Definitely look into it. Ali, did you see all my stuff up there? Anyway, you can screenshot that if you want to, because I don't know how long this thing stays up. Eating fruit makes you feel 100 times better than any drug ever could. I think that might be debatable, but it definitely does make you feel good, and it's a clean, happy, healthy, bright, sober, free feeling, which is better than anything else. Donna, have you ever had issues overeating on fruit or raw foods? Yeah, girl. Yes, I have. You know, it's way, way, way easier to eat to satisfaction and to moderate what you're eating and to not binge out and overeat on raw foods. It's easier, but it's definitely possible to overeat on raw foods and food. I mean, it's possible to overeat on anything. You know, too much of anything I don't think is good. And if you're eating, you know, ridiculous amounts of food and your body does not need that much food to fuel itself properly, then you're overindulging and your body has to process and digest and break down and assimilate in some way all that extra food, and your body doesn't need that extra food. So it's just work that your body has to do that's unnecessary. So yeah, I think that you can overeat on it. I don't think that it's like the easiest thing to do, because generally you'll get full before you overeat, but it is possible, especially like, you know, dates and stuff, because that doesn't make you feel very full. I could eat 100 dates in a sitting, but does that mean it's good for me? No. Oh, thanks. I don't do anything with my teeth except for brush them. I brush them twice a day, and that's it. I used to do the banana peel thing, you know, like the inside of the banana peel, and like dry off my teeth and put it on for like 15 minutes, but I don't do that very much anymore. Mostly just brush them. And after I drink a smoothie, like if it's a green smoothie or a purple smoothie or some kind of like dark smoothie, I always like swish around water in my mouth afterwards so that it like rinses off any of the residue of the fruit and stuff so that I don't have any stains and decay. Brianna, you definitely should start your own meetup. That would be awesome. I think that you would really enjoy it, and I think that you'd be interested. I think it would be fascinating to see the type of people that you attract to it. And just, you know, it'll build over time. It might be like 3 people at first, but it's definitely worth starting. Are there people in here that are listening to all this that aren't commenting? Do I have anyone hiding in there? Let me know if you're here and you're just like hiding. I know a lot of people watch this afterwards, like on the replays because they're busy, but I'm just wondering if there is anyone who's in here watching this live right now who's not commenting. Hi, Amanda. I don't think it's 193 people. I'm pretty sure that number always says 193. Yeah, there's no way. I think that's like the total number of people that are involved in the summit, maybe. Like the total number of attendees, I think. I'm not sure. Wayne's going to have to let me know on that. There's probably a small amount of people registered, yeah. Probably a small amount of people that are in here right now, but I do have a lot of people writing me, like on Snapchat and stuff, who say that they are watching a replay of something, which is really cool. I'm so glad that that's a feature here. You can watch it over and over in case you need a reminder, you forgot something, or you know, you need some motivation or inspiration about the topic. All right, guys, what else? We've got about 10 minutes or so left. And I've never really answered all of your questions on this topic. Oh my gosh, look, this is how fast I was going. I still have my little thing running on my watch for my run. Because I got the message from Wayne when I was outside, and I was like, oh no. Do you think it's okay to work on overcoming an addiction during a big life change? I'm moving right now and it's a hard time to leave my home. Do you mind telling me what kind of addiction? If you don't want to, that's okay. I can answer the food. Okay. I think that's the best time, because if you're stressed and you're having a big life change, I mean, you might want to do it slowly. You don't want to go like, you know, freaking 180 degrees overnight. But if you're stressed and you're moving, and you're stressed, would be the proper way to say that. That's probably like a more common time that you would use food to relieve some of that stress. You know, you're out, you run and you grab a sandwich here, you do this, you do that, and it makes you feel good, and it's something you can look forward to, and it's exciting, and blah, 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 right? We all know the struggle. The struggle is real, I get it. But what if you just have a set program for yourself? Like, I work really well having set programs, like working out. If someone tells me, this is your workout, this is what you're going to do, then I'm going to do it. But if I say, oh, you know, maybe I'll work out 3 days a week and maybe I'll blah, 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 it's probably not going to happen. Like, I'm so much better with set programs. Same with food. Like, if I know I'm eating a raw vegan diet and I have a rough idea of what I'm having for all of my meals, like, it's so much better than me being like, well, I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to eat vegan, any kind of vegan food, whatever, and leave this big open space. Because then there's like a lot of room. Like, I like to hone in and have like a set program. So if you want to have like some kind of moderated program for yourself, maybe not straight to raw vegan or whatever your goal is, but somewhere in between where you are and there, and know, like, I'm only sticking to this no matter what, even during your move, I think it would help. And then once you do fully move, you can go a step further on that path. Let me know if that helps. Brianna, I do too, because the move can represent a change in your life as well. New home, new diet, new you, embrace it. Yeah, totally, I agree. Yep, just do it all. Like, don't, because the whole waiting game is like, well, I'm going to wait till I'm settled and I'm going to wait till blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like we all make excuses. Like I said in the very beginning, it's so easy to make excuses for things, especially when it's stuff you just don't want to let go of, you know? There's that real struggle there. Like, oh God, but that means I always bring up Chipotle. I was obviously like, Chipotle is probably one of my favorite things. Like, if I could just eat Chipotle and be as happy and healthy and fit as I am now, I would. But that's just not the way life works. So, you know, we all make excuses because it's like, if you've been eating it if I've been eating Chipotle every single day, and then one day I decide, oh, I've got this big move, and now I'm going to change my lifestyle, and God, that means that tomorrow I can't have Chipotle, and I just want to have it one more day. I just want to have it for one more week or one more month, or I'll do it after the move. Those are all just excuses, you know, like you can do it now. Anna, I'm sure that this is a common question, but how long did it take you to transition completely to a raw food diet? Well, I started wanting to become raw in 2009. I first heard about the raw food diet of any kind. It wasn't necessarily the high carb, low fat fruit raw food diet, but it was a raw food diet. I'm trying to get comfortable. I'm like hunched over here. Just trying to get down. And I went off and on raw, vegan, pescatarian, vegan, raw, pescatarian, raw, vegan for like a long time. And then vegetarian, whatever, that was mixed in there too. And then, so 2009, we're in 2016, okay? So it wasn't until 3 years ago that I went fully vegan and stuck with that for the last 3 years. And then it wasn't until January that I stuck to 100% raw. And like I said, and I've said to people before, and I mentioned this in the videos, like I'm not claiming that I'm going to be 100% raw forever. Like raw food definitely makes me feel my best, and I'll always eat mostly raw foods, but I'm not trying to become like the raw food guru or something like that. It is what makes me feel my best, and it is what I'm doing right now, and I am doing it 100% right now, and it's awesome, and I absolutely love it. But it took a while. It took years really to really commit to that fully and to stick with it for any long period of time. In January, it'll be a year for me, so. As a person who likes to make excuses, would you recommend I transition to raw slowly or do it overnight? Like what do you eat right now? Like how far off are you? Are you at a place where you're even 100% vegan? It just so depends on where you're at. Like if you're already 100% vegan, but it's all junk food vegan, okay, then I would say your next step would be to just stay with the vegan thing and switch from junk food vegan to whole foods vegan. Only eat whole foods that have not been processed. So beans, rice, quinoa, sweet potatoes, steamed veggies, fruits, vegetables, whatever, but just whole foods. No processed stuff, nothing with like a box and a label and a bunch of ingredients, no fast food. You are high carb, low fat, whole plant-based vegan, always vegan for the animals. No baked, no fried, right? So, okay, so you've already got that going on. I've been doing that for a long time. Okay. Yeah, Anna, that's like totally long time. It took a long time. Rose, I would say, do you feel like you're not the healthiest you could be because there are certain types of whole foods that you feel like you binge on or that you're addicted to? Is it salt? Are you having a problem feeling satiated? In which case I might suggest even adding a little bit more like plant fats, like avocados and stuff. It's so case by case, but I'm happy to help you here in the next few minutes if I possibly can. If you doing the raw overnight, like I think you could do like a 30-day challenge overnight for sure. But after that, you might have to go back to cook to remember like, oh, maybe this doesn't make me feel as good, and like experiment with that. It's hard to go 100% overnight forever or for a really long period of time. So even if you want to do like 1 week, 7 days raw, you know, like my ebook says. So start there if you want to try it. I think you could definitely do 7 days raw and then see how you feel. Me, Rachel, are you addressing me? Do you eat more fruits than veggies, and is that a conscious choice? I do eat more fruits than veggies, and that is a conscious choice just because fruit fills me up more. Honestly, like I don't really like raw veggies that much. I much prefer steamed veggies, and since I haven't been doing any cooked foods the last year almost, I have not been eating as many veggies. Like I do some carrots and some cucumbers and some things, but like certain things like broccoli and, you know, certain foods like kale I can put in smoothies, but I can't eat it raw. I just can't stomach it. But steamed, I could eat a lot of it. So, Brianna, do you have a raw version of cheese, vegan cheese? I've been vegan for over a year. Now I'm going raw. I still crave that cheese flavor ideas. I don't want to eat processed diet, follow your heart, etc. anymore. Brianna, there actually is a raw vegan cheese by a company called Mayoko's Kitchen. I hope I spelled that right. I'm typing it in there. Some of her flavors are considered raw. You might have to message her on Facebook, which you can find her on Facebook at Mayoko's Kitchen. Just type it in the search bar and ask her which ones are raw and which ones aren't. They are made with oil, so it's not something you want to be eating like all day, every day, but they are delicious. You have to get them shipped from like California, so it's definitely not the cheapest thing. I plan on getting it for like the holidays, but for a raw vegan cheese, it tastes exactly like cheese, like the real thing, the real thing. And it's delicious, and she has at least like 5 or 6 flavors that are raw. So definitely check her out, especially for special occasions. Or if you're just transitioning and like you really need that in your transitionary period, it's totally worth the money. Definitely check it out. Rose, it's anything cooked. I've been overeating and emotionally eating uncooked. Then yeah, definitely do something drastic. If you know that it's anything cooked, then it's probably time to do something drastic, or switch up your paradigm and say, I'm only eating fruits and veggies no matter what. Like, and not roots, not grains, just fruits and veggies. So the only cooked thing you'd be eating would be like greens and veggies, like carrots, broccoli, spinach, kale. You know, if that's all you're eating, like that might be that would be the only way I would say to transition. Like if you're going to do a transitionary step between 100% cooked or lots of cooked and 100% raw, is to transition by only eating fruits and vegetables no matter what. Like no potatoes, no root vegetables, no, well, unless carrots are root vegetable. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like no starches, no potatoes, no grains, and just have like carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, kale. Steam those things at night with no salt, no sauces, none of that, and have that kind of as your dinner meal along with raw fruits and veggies throughout the day or whatever. That would be a really good transitionary plan. I should make a book on this. No, I'm just kidding. Rachel, my family is concerned about me eating too much fruit. That's why I was wondering. Yeah, I mean, people have that concern. And like I said, the best thing you can do is do as much research as you possibly can to be completely educated on it yourself. And that way you can speak intelligently about it to your family. It's the only way it's going to help. Yeah. Rose, I eat cooked food until I'm in pain. I only feel satisfied until I can barely fit any more food in. I mean, I had a friend, Rose, who was exactly like this, and the protocol that I just stated really helped her. I mean, she would still eat like a ton of steamed carrots and broccoli at night, but like you can only eat so much carrots and broccoli. I mean, unless you still make yourself sick off that. But if you're going to transition, that's the only transitionary thing I would say, or just go straight into 7 days or 14 days or 30 days raw challenge, done. However, you could still overeat on that if you wanted to. Like, I mean, it could happen. You could have 10 bowls of banana ice cream in a row. It's not going to be good for you, you know? Brianna, oh my, thank you, sounds amazing. Would help the transition for sure. Yeah. Yep. Donna, I love eating raw, but I emotional overeat on raw foods, but never on cooked foods. It seems like everyone has the opposite problem, and I don't know how to shake this. Well, then there are all kinds of little bugs in here because I've got this light on. Hang on, guys. I got to close my window. Okay, that is better. You overeat on raw foods. That's interesting. So again, like that might be something that benefits you. Like every single person is different. If you don't overeat on cooked foods, then try having some cooked foods during that meal that you're most prone to overeating on, whether it's breakfast or lunch or dinner. Add in some steamed veggies. Like, see if that helps on the overeating. Donna, that was addressed to you. Jonas, I'd rather eat 5 avocados like Ted says than a bowl of potatoes. Then yeah, dude. I mean, if that is what you'd prefer, then totally do that. Rachel, I crave salt and really struggle eating raw because of it. You and everybody else, girl. Like, I think that salt is probably more addictive than cooked food and probably more addictive than most things. Salt is a very hard one, but once you do a no salt challenge, I know you're going to crave it, and, you know, eat some celery and have some tomatoes and have some savory things that have natural sodium in them. But after a no salt challenge for a week or a few days or whatever, then you go back to your normal food. You can incorporate like little amounts of salt if you want to, and things will taste way saltier to you rather than right now where you're at and where your palate's at and how much you crave it is only going to keep going up if you keep doing that. But if you wipe your slate clean, it helps so much with the salt cravings. Rose, do you think it's okay to eat higher fat raw when cooked food? Yes, Rose, yes. If cooked food cravings, I eat higher fat raw anyway. I'm not strictly 80-10-10. If I want fats, I eat them, period. I think that they're great for some things. I don't 100% believe in one single paradigm, whether it's 80-10-10 or whole food plant-based or anything. Like, I just feel it out with my own body personally, and I eat probably like 15 to 20% fat on average, and some days more. So I think it's totally okay to have some more fat. Like, the salt, though, makes me feel like crap. So I really try and stay away from the salt. But if you're having cooked food cravings and having more fat helps, eat more fat for sure. Acid fruits with fat fruits are really a good combination, Jonas. All right, guys, we are heading into an hour. I'm going to wrap this up. Yeah, coconut meat is awesome too, man. Oh, May, my partner, makes these smoothies, and it's like banana, blueberry, coconut meat, green powder, this like chocolate protein powder stuff we have. And that combo is like amazing. So definitely coconut meat, avocados, even some nuts and seeds, some sprouted nuts and seed butters, like whatever. Like, if you want the fats, eat the fats if you're trying to do raw, for sure. Great to hear. I was a fat phobic for a while and didn't eat any overt fats for many months. Yeah, I did that too, and it like did not work for me. Like, I did not have great results. I did not feel my best. I had some weird, like, I felt like my hair was getting thinner, my skin was looking not as like healthy, and so, you know, I definitely do more fats. But people are like, oh, well, when I eat more fats, like my skin breaks out. Maybe that would happen, but for me, that happens when I eat like any kind of processed anything, like raw restaurant, and there's like processed agave or sugar in something, or like salt. Like, those kind of things really affect my skin. But if I'm eating like a whole food fats, like avocados and coconut meat and stuff like that, I feel great. So definitely don't be scared of fats. Thanks, guys. The dehydrated celery does make a good salt, a raw salt. I have tried that. Tomatoes, bell pepper, celery, coconut meat. Yeah, that's a good combo too. Awesome, guys. You guys are the best. Next Monday, I'm actually going to be out of town, but I'll still be here with you. I just won't be in Florida. I'll be somewhere else. Next Monday is my last talk, and it is at 6 p.m., and I will not be late this time. And I'm just going to touch really quick on what it is about, so I have it written down. My cat is trying to do something ridiculous right now. Honey, you're just going to have to let go. He'll be in here himself. Okay, my Monday, October 24th at 6 p.m., overcoming eating disorders. So definitely don't miss that one. All right, I love you guys. Thank you so much.